on a Friday night, pick a park in the glow of the porch light. Mama taught me work comes first. Daddy said, boy, know your worth. Ain't got much, but I got pride and a backbone built from county lines. Cause I'm back roads raised, some big soul, bonfire burning where the wild things go. Radio up with the window down, that's how we do it in a no-name town. Cornfield hard with a red.
Okay, here we go. I know you'd rather listen to the music than me, but that's not how it's going to play out today. I thought of it after I did it, and I probably should have given solutions to the problems we presented being out in the woods by yourself and somebody creeps up on you, or somebody stalking around in the woods, or wherever you are, van camping or whatever you're doing. You have turned, well, let's do it this way. Like and subscribe. I know I'm talking to a wall, but I gotta say it because I really need you guys to do something. All you gotta do is like, subscribe, do something, okay? So let's get back to the problem at hand. The problem was, and by the way, I'm not drinking coffee, I'm drinking protein because I just got back from the gym, so I'm probably not going to be my warm, cuddly, happy person like I usually am. Shut up. Ugh, that's nasty ass protein. Okay. You've got a real problem on your hands if you're out in the woods and you're by yourself and something's walking up on you, or someone's walking up on you, or, you know, I don't know, apparently Bigfoot's everywhere now, so maybe Bigfoot's walking up on you. And by the way, I'm going to stick to my guns. It should be Bigfoot's, not Bigfoot. He has 2 feet. But if you're out there and something's walking up on you, first of all, if you're in a tent and it's a bear, you're in a bear burrito. That's just the dumbest thing in the world, going tent camping in bear country. I'm shocked at the amount of people that do this. Tent camping in bear country. It would be like if your kids were hiding from you because they just broke something really expensive and they hid behind a piece of toilet paper. The tent is nothing to a bear. Or stalker, you know, let's be honest. These freaking idiots sit in their tent with their light on because they heard something outside. The stalker knows exactly where to hit the tent with the baseball bat to take your noggin out. So, first of all, if you're out there and something's going on and you hear somebody or something or anything, especially if you saw a flashlight or something like that and you know it's a person, get the fuck out of the tent. If you're dumb enough to sleep in a tent, get the fuck out of the tent. You are helpless in a tent. You know, you see these people pulling their little knives out of their sheaths or open up their pocket knives like if something attacks them. Well, what the hell are you going to do with a pocket knife? You can't see anything. You're in the tent. You know, unless you have windows open and you have like a Toledo Scaramanga sword, you know, you have no reach with a pocket knife. Get out of the tent. You have options once you're out of the tent. You can fight, you can run, you can hide, whatever, but get the fuck out of the tent. I'm embarrassed to say, some of you you think you're hardcore survivalists and this and that, and you know, you think you're going to live forever out in the woods and stuff, and you buy those inflatable tents or those stupid little dome tents or those single bivvy, you know, tents, and you think you're going to be safe and secure in the woods. Dude, you're not. Okay, this is another one of those situations where if we're in survival mode and, you know, society's collapsing, and, you know, if I walk up on you in your tent, your shit's gonna be mine. That's how it is. So if nothing else puts it in the framework where you understand what I'm saying, if you're in a tent with the tent closed and someone like me walks up on you, your shit's gonna be mine or theirs. It's not gonna be yours anymore. You're gonna be lucky if you survive the encounter. So if I haven't made it clear, I'm dead set against tents. But there are some of you prima donnas out there that think you need a tent, so I'm going to try to give you a possible solution here. Again, this isn't, I didn't mean for yesterday's or the other days or whenever I did a podcast to be as long as it was, but I had a lot to say. This one, I promise you, will not be as long, but I think it'll be some useful information. If you're out there, you know, roughing it in the woods like you think you're Joe Badass, and you have to use a freaking tent. And for the record, if I really thought something was going down and I was out there, and I'm not stroking myself or patting myself on the back, but I could go out in the woods by myself and be okay. I could survive. I could defend myself and everything else. But I've been trained. I don't know. I don't know how good this will work for someone that hasn't been trained, but it will at least give you an idea of something to do. If you're out there, if you're feeling like someone's following you, if it's a bear, you just get the fuck out of town. Leave your tent, leave your bag, leave everything. Anything that's going to slow you down stays. Nothing is worth your life. If there's a grizzly bear out there, you just leave your shit and go. If you haven't seen it yet, if you smell the bear scat, go. Because if you smell it, it's fresh. If you see fresh tracks, which I don't know if you know fresh tracks or not when you see it, go the opposite direction that the tracks were heading. If you know there's a bear on a trail, like you see that little furry brown dot way down, like a click ahead of you, go the opposite direction. It's time to go home. The woods decided they don't want you there that day. However, if you're at your campsite and you've got to be in that damn tent and you're looking out that stupid screen window on your tent and you see a flashlight coming towards you, the answer is not to zip up your tent and sit there with your knife or to turn your light on. It's not the answer. All right? Here's one of the things you can do. Never go up a tree, though. I'm going to tell you right now, because it's worse than being in the tent, okay? Never go up a tree. Here's what you're going to do. This is the best advice I could give you. You should, regardless of what kind of tent you have, in your pack, have an emergency bivy bag. One of my compadre that's been on the podcast already gave me a really nice one. It's green. It's not orange, so like the space shuttle can see you. It's green. I would recommend a green or a camouflage bivy bag. It shouldn't be so thin that when you put your feet in it, they poke through. But I would recommend a dark green, or a camouflage bivy bag. And if it's in the winter, if it's in the snow, you got to have a snow poncho to put over it, because that thing's going to stand out like a sore thumb in the bushes if it's not. But what you want to do is you want to try to get about 100 feet away, maybe 150 feet away, where you have a clear sight of your campsite. Get that bivy into the brush, the thicket, the shit that you'd normally not go through. Use that to push into it. Get back into it as far as you can where you still have sight of the campsite. Leave your campsite good. Leave the light on in your tent. Do everything you're going to normally do. Like if you were camping there, hell, you'd put on a pot of coffee, or, well, I wouldn't waste coffee, but put on food or whatever. Something that won't burn, like just start boiling water or something, so it looks like your tent site is active and someone's there. But if you know someone's been stalking you, following you, or coming at you from about a click away, act quick. Grab your shit, get up into like I said, 150, 200 feet away where you can still see your campsite, and bug into the weeds and stuff the best you can, and keep an eye on your campsite and see what's going to happen. That's how you're going to know if you're being stalked or not. Obviously don't put your shit in the direction that the person would be approaching from. I would try to do it as far away from the direction someone's approaching from, but you want to be able to see what's going on. You want to see if they're going to walk up on your campsite. You want to see if they're going to just walk past it, or if they're going to try to get in a tent or whatever. If it was me, I would have, an AR with a red dot on it pointed right at that person, seeing what their intentions are. If they start bashing the tent with a baseball bat, I'm going to take their favorite head off the top of their shoulders. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to make a canoe out of the top of their head. But maybe they're just curious, they're going to move on. If they start yelling, hey, is there anybody in there? Is anybody in there? Don't say anything. See what they're going to do. Watch what they're going to do. Get a good look at them. And here's the key thing, okay? Listen to this. Take this advice. I don't care if you're armed and strapped and have enough ammo and shit on you to hold the National Guard off for 2 hours. You pack your shit up and go when they leave. If they're about a click away, break down the tent, break down all your happy shit, pack it up, and get the shit out of there. Because you don't know that they're not going to come back with more people. Now, I always take an observe first approach if time permits. And that's why I'm telling you, you back it up into the weeds, you back it up into somewhere where no normal person would go. Cover yourself with the bivy for two reasons. One, it's going to camouflage you, and two, it's going to keep you warm. Because if it's snow covered or the time that I like to camp, it's cold as shit outside. You want to be in there, you want to be warm where you're going to be laying still. You got to practice laying still in that shit, because you might be laying on something that doesn't feel good. But you got to practice laying still, and you got to be patient. It's almost like deer hunting. You got to let them walk up on you. You got to see what their intentions are, and then you know how to react. You know, if they start hacking at your tent with the machete or some shit, man, I'll tell you what, it's free game season. It's free game season. You know, that's why you have a shovel with you. You got to do something with the body, but if they're going to try to kill you, I'm telling you, that's a bad spot. So, I don't know. I don't. This is probably going to get blocked on YouTube, by the way. So if you have to go to Patreon to listen to it, yeah, you probably first part of it will be on YouTube and then it'll be blocked. So I recommend you start switching over to Patreon anyhow. But if you're out there and shit goes south real quick, if time permits, get your ass up into the woods. Get your ass where you can, get out of the way. If you don't have time, if they're that close, if you have any show of force, like I wouldn't go out with the very least I'd go out to the woods would be, like a Glock or something. You have to display your show of force. Do not present yourself as a victim. Never present yourself as a victim. I wouldn't be standing there with the gun pointing at them when they walk up, unless they have a gun in their hands. Then I'd have my weapon out in front of me. I don't want them to have the drop on me. But you have to show a show of force, and maybe that'll keep them from even getting really close to you. But here's the thing. When they leave, break your shit down and go. Because now you've identified something they might want. And maybe they'll come back in force to get your gun or whatever you had for defense. You can get outnumbered real quick. And I don't care if you're Rambo. If you get outnumbered, you're outnumbered. So I don't want this to sound paranoid, but I've never had a problem because I always present a show of force if someone presents himself to me in the woods. Most of the time, because I am who I am and I do what I do, I have the superior show of force. They basically have a slingshot and I have a howitzer. I look them in the eye when I talk to them. I ask them for their information. I let them know that I'm not intimidated and that I have control of the situation. They don't. If it's somebody that's batshit crazy, I end the situation very quickly. If it's somebody that's batshit crazy and they won't leave, they're going to catch some pepper spray. I don't care who you are. Pepper spray is going to change your attitude real quick. Bear spray is very important. The can of the bear spray, if you're in the woods, even if it's not a grizzly bear area or something like that, you should still have it. That's one of the few things that works on crazy people, is short of a 9mm to the forehead. So always have your pepper spray in the woods. Have something to defend yourself, not a 3-inch pocket knife. If you insist on being an idiot and going out there camping by yourself, if you haven't been trained how to survive. For the women that want to do this, all I can say is don't go out in the woods alone. Don't do this, solo hiking, or what do they call it, stealth camping, or any of that shit. Don't do it. Don't. You're not proving anything to anyone. Nobody respects you for it. Everyone thinks you're a fool. No matter how many pats on the back you get, you're an idiot. Because first thing you're going to do when something goes south is you're going to make a video about how scared you were and this and that. And what you don't believe is, or what you don't know is, when you make those videos, we're not looking at it saying, oh, the poor thing. We're looking at it saying, what the fuck was she thinking? What an idiot. So don't post videos where you're scared and someone approached your camper or your tent or your van or whatever it is, and you talk about how scared you were and it was the worst night of your life. because you're a fucking idiot. It's like saying, I keep burning my hand on the stove and it hurts. I keep burning my hand on the stove and it hurts. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot. Don't do it. Guys, honest to God, if you don't know what you're doing out in the woods, don't go out by yourself. That's not the way to do it for the night. Go out and learn skills. Go out and learn how to build a fire and go home. Go out and learn how to build a lean-to and go home. Go out and, really, really cold day, on a really cold day, go out and try to sleep during the day while it's really cold and you have control of the situation and there's light. And see if you can even sleep in the cold, because some people can't. But don't be hiking out there like a 4 to 6 hour hike where you're out there so far nobody's going to hear a gunshot or a scream for help and think you're going to survive if something happens, because there's a lot of bad people out there. And I would say every year there's more and more and more bad people living out there. We just found out, not even a block from here, there are people living in the woods where we live. There's about a block from where we live, there's people living in the woods again, like a little community. And I don't think they'd be too friendly. I don't think we're going to walk up and share a cup of coffee with them. I think it would be more like me walking in with the bear spray or pepper spray and just leveling the place. If these are people that are come upon hard times and they got nowhere else to live, I feel sorry for them and I'll give them some money if I see them. But I think they choose to be unemployed. I think they choose to live in the woods and they're a burden on society. Yeah. All you Democrats line up and give me hell for saying that, but that's the truth. I don't know how I got on that tangent. All I'm saying, let's just end this right now. Let's just end this with, if you don't know what you're doing, packing up your brand new pack with everything still in the packaging, even the batteries, and going out and trying to solo camp or stealth camp by yourself, if you don't know what you're doing, equals a really bad idea. And I'm going to tell you, a whole bunch of bad shit will happen real fast. Women, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to get hated for this, and I'm probably going to get dropped, and women will stop listening to this. I know we got a bunch of female listeners out there. Don't do it. You're putting yourself in harm's way unnecessarily. You want to be a free spirit, go hug a tree, go hug a dolphin, do something like that. Do not. And I'm going to tell you, there are some really, really evil people out there that want to do horrible things to you and your body. Do not go stealth camping. Do not go solo camping. If you're going to go van camping, make sure you're with a bunch of people. Don't do it by yourself. No one is impressed. No one. Everyone thinks you're an idiot for doing it, regardless of what you think. And I don't care how good you feel when you do it. You're going to feel a lot less good, we'll say, when someone knocks in a window and comes in there and grabs you. Don't do it. That's my whole thing. And I should have included this yesterday, but the podcast went on a lot longer than I wanted to, so I didn't. I'm doing it today because I really feel guilty for not having it on there yesterday. I'm going to really caution you guys from doing this stuff by yourself, men and women. And honestly, women have better sense than men as a rule of thumb. So I don't understand why women are out there doing it. Men, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Just because you watched a video on YouTube or something, you're not ready. If you haven't practiced all the skills you need to do it, and I'm talking, there's probably 5 major skills you need to be able to go out and solo camp successfully. One of two things is going to happen. You're going to have an encounter with someone you don't want or something you don't want, or you're going to end up packing right after it gets dark and going home and feeling horrible about yourself because you quit. So practice your skills we talked about and just use your head. If you really think about it, if you get down and think about this shit, ladies, gentlemen, you know it's a bad idea. The solo camping and the van camping and stuff, if you're van camping around a group of people, that's one thing. Okay, I'm not going to bash on that. I'm not going to bang on that. But this going out by yourself in the middle of nowhere where you don't even have cell signal, and van camping or solo camping, ladies, yeah, you too, as I've mentioned to the men before several times, and I'm sorry to use the language, ladies, the ones that want to do this, you're fucking idiots. You're not impressed. Honest to God, you're not impressing anyone. You're just worrying us. You're going to be a statistic. You're not going to be a hero. It will catch up with you, so please be careful. If you got to do it, at least have some way to defend yourself besides a stupid little knife you bought at Walmart or something like that. You need to have, and also let's add this before I get off the phone. Don't build your van up in a way you don't have more than one exit. You can't have just front door exits or just a side door exit. You need to be able to get out of the back door too. At the very least, it'll give you a chance to run. All right, I'm done ranting. There's more things to do. There's more ways to do this. There's more ways to survive. Email me if you want more. I'm gonna call you a fucking idiot if you want to do it, but I'll talk to you about it. We can discuss it. Yeah, my brother out west. My provider of coffee, my confidant, been on a podcast. I hope you're feeling better soon. Y'all watch your six and peace out.
Mama taught me work comes first. Daddy said, boy, know your worth. Ain't got much, but I got pride and a backbone built from county lines. Cause I'm back roads raised, some big soul, bonfire burning where the wild things go. Radio up with the window down, that's how we do it in a no-name town. Cornfield heart with a rebel blaze, living this life in 1,000 ways. But every mile I've ever made, yes, back roads raised. Skip a